Matt Peiken here with the Wake Up Podcast, and I have a confession to make. I don't live in your city. I produce this newscast from all the credible sources of journalism and the reporters who make up your local media landscape. I try to get the names of people and places right, but once in a while I'll mispronounce something. So I want you to set me straight so I don't repeat the mistake. If you hear anything amiss or just want to send feedback on the show, email me at editor@wakeupthenews.org. All right, on with the news. Wake up, Pittsburgh. I'm Matt Peiken. I hope you all had a sunny weekend. Thanks so much for tuning into your local newscast for Monday, March 2nd. Newly released federal records show years of emails between artificial intelligence pioneer Roger Schenck and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, including during Schenck's time leading Carnegie-Mellon University's Silicon Valley campus. The messages, reviewed by the Post-Gazette, span from 2009 to 2015 and show Schenck seeking favors, sharing professional ideas, and defending Epstein after his conviction for soliciting a minor. The two exchanged racist and sexist remarks and discussed academic connections and potential funding. Carnegie-Mellon says it has no record of financial ties to Epstein and that Schenck's interactions weren't on the university's behalf. Read more about this in the Post-Gazette. A plan to turn a former downtown steam plant into affordable housing is moving forward. The Housing Authority of Pittsburgh has approved nearly $2 million more for the project, bringing its total investment to nearly $5 million. The building at 120 Cecil Way will become 97 units by 2028, with about half reserved for low-income single parents enrolled in college. On-site childcare and counseling will be provided through Pittsburgh's Scholar House. The board also set aside $5 million to potentially acquire the troubled Homewood House apartments. Read more about this at Pittsburgh Public Source. Pittsburgh Public Schools Emergency Response Technology Program has a new partner, Leon Ford, co-founder of the HERE Foundation. Ford, who was paralyzed after being shot by Pittsburgh police during a 2012 traffic stop, now mentors students at Westinghouse High School. The program trains 35 students in firefighting, emergency medical services, and law enforcement. Ford says philanthropic support can help ensure students not only graduate, but enter the careers they're preparing for. District leaders say his weekly hands-on presence helps students feel supported as they consider public safety careers. Read more about this in the New Pittsburgh Courier. Pittsburgh made history in 2021 by electing Ed Gainey its first black mayor. 4 years later, voters ousted him in the Democratic primary, and the debate continues over why. Gainey lost by about 3,300 votes in a city that is 23% black, after winning more than 90% of the black vote. Some residents and Councilwoman Barb Warwick say race played a role in how he was treated. Others, including community leaders and voters, point to concerns about city services and leadership. In a look back at his tenure as mayor, Gainey highlights $600 million for downtown development and a drop in homicides. Read more about this in the Post-Gazette. And a Pittsburgh man is facing federal charges after a grand jury indictment unsealed last Friday. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the Western District of Pennsylvania says 44-year-old Mahmoud al-Masri, also known as Mohammed Jiham, is charged with fraud, misuse of visas and other documents, and aggravated identity theft. Prosecutors allege al-Masri entered the United States in 2016 by assuming the identity of a person who was already deceased, and continued using that identity for nearly a decade. If convicted, he could face up to 25 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. Read more about this at KDKA. Our free newsletter is a quick local news digest, essentially this newscast in written form. Subscribe at wakeuppit, that's PIT.transistor.fm. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram at wakeuppit. And please share this podcast with your friends who care about this city. I'm Matt Peiken. Thanks so much for starting your weekdays with Wake Up Pittsburgh.